Welcome to another rapid fire review. This time I'm going to be reviewing Netflix's new German drama comedy show, How to Sell Drugs Online Fast. Because I want people to experience this show for themselves, this review will have no major spoilers, except for the first episode. So, what is this show even about? Assuming you've read the title, it should be no surprise it's a show about selling drugs. Online. Fast. But the story doesn't exactly begin that way. We start with the introduction of two high school computer geeks, Moritz and Lenny. Moritz, surprisingly, has a girlfriend who's coming back to Germany after a year abroad in America. But once she lands, Lisa pulls out a fucking trump card and breaks up with Moritz. Moritz finds out later on about his girlfriend's new discovery of drugs in America, and decides the best way to win back his ex was to say he was open to trying new things and getting her some drugs. Now, this show is the equivalent of a modern-day teenager's Breaking Bad, but unlike Breaking Bad, this show moves fast, and when I say fast, I mean it's 30 minutes per episode, and there are only 6 episodes, which means it takes only 3 hours to watch the show entirely. This show doesn't hold back on the content within these 30-minute episodes either. Every action has an almost immediate reaction and keeps the story going at just the right pace. By the end of the first season, you'll be begging for more as the show creators end the first season at the climax for a bigger story. The story holds a high potential and easily makes it to my top 3 TV shows of 2019. But what's even crazier is that this show was actually inspired by real events which happened in Germany. The show creators said they were inspired by Shiny Flakes, which is the real-world equivalent to My Drugs in the show, and its 19-year-old creator, Max. Max sold drugs ranging from MDMA to marijuana and made over 4.4 million euros in Bitcoin before he was arrested in 2015. Now, as you can tell, the character Moritz is meant to reflect that of Max. And as a fun fact, Moritz was the name that was used in the Vice article that reported on Shiny Flakes, and it's probably where the show creators got the name for their character. Okay, I went on a little tangent there, I'm not gonna lie, but let's just get back to talking about the show and what makes it good. And that is the technical things that complement the story. These technical things include on-screen details, visual effects, and all their execution into the story. This show could have taken the teen genre route and created fake programs and fake line of codes for the protagonists to use and write and say that they're nerds, but they actually go all the way to use real programs and codes. Like, all the codes that flash on the screen at this point are all real HTML codes, and they're not bullshit or some kind of, pseudo-coding. You have to understand that TV shows haven't had a great track record of showing programs and coding on screen for real.
What?
They're on to us. Vikram's trying to track our IP address.
Oh, can you stop it?
No. But I can slow him down. What the hell?
But there are even finer details, like voice messages in WhatsApp chats, and all these pop-up ads that infest the laptop of a tech-illiterate drug dealer. Committing to realism in the portrayal of tech also extends to the realistic portrayal of Generation Z, my generation. And in the first episode, there is a sequence which beautifully just puts out and shows what a Generation Z looks like, or a group at least. Because in this episode, he walks down the hallway and we see everything that's happening on everyone's phones, and everything shown is completely realistic for Generation Z kids to be doing. Like, you have face swapping there, you have messages there, whatever the hell, man. It's just, there's so much around that's going on, and it doesn't feel out of place or forced because we are in a high school. I mean, they even include uTorrent in the first 5 minutes of the show, and has Lenny using Discord to chat with his friends and an e-girl. And best of all, every single one of these details have their own payoff in the story, and none of them are just done for the sake of showing it off on screen. Visual effects are also a big part of this show, if it wasn't already clear. This show uses deepfake on Zuckerberg in episode 4.
We're the first people on this planet who live a second life.
And has sequences like this to make boring scenes more fun to watch. When I introduced my friends to this show, I emphasized the fact that this show feels visually experimental. The sheer creativity to make boring scenes entertaining is admirable, and this impacts the way that the intro changes every single episode to analogies and visuals used to explain real-life concepts accurately.
Vorher werden sie durch das Tor-Netzwerk geleitet, von Knotenpunkt zu Knotenpunkt. Jeder Punkt kennt dabei immer nur seinen Vorgänger und seinen Nachfolger. Nie die gesamte Kette. So lässt sich also nicht mehr zurückverfolgen, von wem das Datenpaket ursprünglich kam.
Sometimes the show also uses visual effects to help its fourth wall breaking moments such as this.
Für die wenigen unter euch, die so wie ich zu dem Zeitpunkt nicht die leiseste Ahnung haben, was das für Pillen sind und was genau da drin ist, legt mal kurz euer Handy weg und hört Lennys Mutter zu. Das wird später noch wichtig. Alle anderen können da unten auf den Skip-Button drücken.
The fact that they use the Netflix skip system as a way to skip the explanation of ecstasy is just so fresh and amazing to me. I would really love to talk about the show more, but the review has to end at some point, so here it is. I think overall, Netflix's How to Sell Drugs Online Fast is a refreshing foreign series that I'm really glad Netflix picked up. It's one of the only 2 foreign series that I watch, and the other one being Money Heist. This show's witty comedy, direction, and attention to detail makes this show entertaining throughout its 6 episodes, and the fast pace of the show keeps the audience on their toes as the story never has a low point within these 6 episodes. As much as the plot is crucial to the show, so does the visuals. Through visual effects, lighting, and cinematography, the show effortlessly turns a boring sequence into something instantly enjoyable and complements the story. Its dedication to stick to realism to portray Generation Z and technology is also admirable, and frankly, I think it deserves recognition. This show makes it to my top 3 shows of 2019 so far, as I've said before, and I really hope this show gets greenlit for a 2nd season by Netflix. So overall, I give this show a 9 out of 10. As I've said, most of the execution, especially visual, was flawless, but the only problem came from the plot, where at one point it felt a little bit too rushed. That's kind of why it didn't get the 10 out of 10 mark, because, you know, it's not perfect, but it's damn near perfect. Well, that's it for me guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.